Okay, going to show you the new layout for Livestream Studio. We actually are using the advanced setup versus the simple setup that we were accustomed to. So just a couple of different windows that I want to point out to you. First off, we have a preview window and an output window. The output is the current live view that everyone sees as they are watching the live stream. The preview is the next screen that you are intending to pull up. Right below these two screens here, the preview and output, we see the smaller screens that show every input that we have. So we have our main camera, our sound booth camera, audience camera, our computer, which is through an NDI scan converter, and then these are graphics. So I've titled this one Pastor Title Graphics 1, Lyrics Overlay Graphics 2. This one is called Technical Difficulties, which is a Graphics 3. And then Thanks for Joining Us is actually a Media 2 as a matter of fact, and then Media 1 is blank right now, and then our lower thirds. Then the next section down is our tabs. We have inputs, so this shows us basically all these inputs we put up here. And then media, which like I said right now is blank. We would put videos, backgrounds and stuff like that. Our audio is where we want to make sure that all of our inputs get linked to the main camera. So all of these different inputs should have this little yellow link, with the exception of main camera. All of the tabs or inputs are linked to main camera. We can add extra inputs there if needed. On the right hand side, the tabs, we have our pastor titles, which is that graphics 1 on input, correlates to this screen right here. Our lyrics overlays. So let me click on pastor graphics. So you can see that we have our screen here right now. We have the I engaged. And I'll show you how these work in just a second, but I've inputted our titles, so our names of our pastors with the title that corresponds to their name. To have the one engaged that you want to show, you would click on the dot to show it. On the technical difficulties, on the or actually let's go to lyric overlays. You can see in this screen on the lyric overlays that now we can have as many of these as we want. So I've set up in this a main camera, lower thirds, a sound booth camera, lower thirds, and that's our worship lyrics, and then the audience, lower thirds. So these are the camera, 3 different cameras that are combined with the worship lyrics on the lower thirds. You can see this screen right here that says lyric overlays in our miniature cameras. If I was to click on this one, you'll see it come up in the preview. It's not on the output just yet, which if you move over to the right, you can see we have a cut option or an auto, and we have this here. Now we can control a fade in. You'll see the screen switch, but doing the cut, you'll see an instant switch, or the auto will go with the transition and the speed I've set it up for. So auto is a very smooth transition. Now the reason that the audience or the sound booth camera and lower third lyrics came on is because in our screens down here for lyrics graphic overlays, we can see that we have the eye engaged on the sound booth. If I was to, let me switch our screens back so that are live. So when I switch the eye down here, you should see our preview screen change. So I'm going to turn that off. So you can see our preview went blank. And let's turn the eye on the main camera lower thirds. You can see it switched to our main camera lower third lyrics. We're still in preview. So when we're ready to switch it, we click auto. You see that slowly going up and switching. Let's switch it back. And let's turn that eye off. And let's do our audience look with lower thirds. So you can see that it has our audience camera, lower third lyrics, and then I added this graphic overlay to help block out some of what we might not want to see here. So again, when we can either hit cut for instant, or we can hit auto for that slow transition fade. At any point, it is possible that we may lose our main camera or have any kind of issues going on. So I've added this technical difficulty screen. So again, it's in the preview. If at any point we lose any of the cameras, we can click on that and instantly cut or auto, and this will be the screen that our folks watching live stream will see. Our apologies, having technical difficulties, doing our best to resolve the issue quickly. And then we've got some links to our website, our Facebook page, and the church YouTube page. That would be a good screen to go to in the event we are having technical difficulties. So once you see cameras and stuff coming back up, usually if we lose our main camera, for example, this little screen here we'll see go blank. And any of these we'll see go blank. If we lose the sound booth camera, the audience camera, not a big deal because we still have our main camera, which is our audio source as well as a good video source. If we lose the main camera, that is when we likely need to use the technical difficulties. So let's switch the auto back on that. And then one of the last things I've added here is a thanks for joining us today. Just kind of a cool little graphic. Yes, it is intentional that today is hard to see. It just is what it is. It's a graphic. That might be something good that we could put at the very end of our live stream after we've done our announcements and a little bit of music as people are exiting. This might be the best thing to throw up for the last 10 to 15 seconds. Again, we could do an auto on that or a cut. That'll work for that. Last thing that I want to show you is how to do the pastor titles and how this works. Let's say that Pastor Kurt is getting ready to speak, and so let me pull up, maybe we were using computer lyrics, and Kurt's getting ready to come to the pulpit to speak. So what we might want to do is, in switching to this camera where he would be at the pulpit, we would also want to add his name and title with it. So you can see next to our section here for cut and auto and our transitions, it says graphics 1, graphics 2, graphics 3, push and pull, and also tie. So remember, our pastor titles is actually graphics 1, and our lyric overlay is graphic 2, and technical difficulties graphic is graphic 3. So in this case, we want to add one of the titles, in this case Kurt, onto the worship screen. So what we would do is we want to tie graphic 1, and it's going to push this in with the main camera that's in preview. It will push that on top of our output. So we have engaged the tie for graphics 1. We have Kurt's name selected. So when we hit auto, we should see our main camera with Kurt's title come up together. And then when we want to take Kurt's name off, all we need to do at this point is pull his title off. And again, notice that it is a slow transition, 45-second frame. If we decide we want to push it back on, we just push it. We can pull it. We can change whatever one we have highlighted will be the name that comes up. Sometimes if you are moving the mouse, the finger on the mouse, sometimes this might go to the left or right in here, and these dots that you need to click on might not appear. If that would happen, see how it just did that? Now they've disappeared. So I've got to take my mouse, put my finger on it, and slide just my finger on top of the mouse, left or right, to make those appear and disappear. So let's put Tim's name on there, and we'll push that in. Then we'll pull. So you can see we've got some pretty cool toys here that we've added, and added quite a bit. Here's where you can change any of the transitions. I would not recommend doing that until you are extremely confident of how to do it. You can change it for the main, the graphics. Here's where our stream tab is, where we have our Vimeo already set up for the event that it needs to be on. YouTube, we'll always want to make sure that it has the current date before going live. Should be a drop down where we can change the date. I have not loaded the one for this Sunday yet. I usually will do that the Sunday of. So always make sure before going live that we check the date. And after we click go live, it will have the red streaming. And then when we're ready to stop, we would click that streaming thing again, and it would end the live stream.